Live. Should be live. So I actually just went and unmuted myself. So let me make sure that you guys can hear me at this point. If you can hear me, just go ahead and post into the chat and just let me know that you are able to hear me. So I'm going to wait for a couple of you guys just to come on in and just let me know that you can hear me, and we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to give it a few moments here. All right, so I see there's a couple of you guys that are actually in here and actually in the chat. All right, awesome. Let me turn this off. Okay, awesome. So everyone, my name is Kenniqua and I am hey, Daryl. Okay, and the other one says you can hear me. Okay, great. It just says Facebook user. What is so wonderful about today, guys, is that we are actually going live in a few different places. I said for some of you guys that are inside of the IBO Knowledge as well program group, I said that I was, or on our email list, I said that I was going to do a couple things different, that I was actually going to try to go through and stream to a few different places. So we're actually live right now on YouTube. We're live inside the IBO Knowledge as well program Facebook group, and we are live on the Candy Facebook page. So hello, everyone. I can see you guys' comments. Hello, Amanda. Some of you guys are coming through Facebook users, so if I don't mention your name, I apologize for that. Derek said you can hear me. Angela said you can hear. Someone that says Facebook user says good morning again. You can hear me. Okay, awesome, guys, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this here today. What we are going to be talking about is how to leverage automation systems and teams for entrepreneurs. So I'm actually gonna go ahead here and I am going to share my screen. So just give me just a few moments. I am going to share my screen so I can bring this up. Now I'm going to be going back and forth to the comments. That way I can actually go through and be able to see your comments. But while I'm actually in the PowerPoint, I will not be able to see your comments. But again, I'm going to just go back and forth so I will be able to go through and see them. So I'm just going to actually just do this in presenter view so I can kind of bring up the page and not be in total full mode here. And I appreciate you guys actually joining me today. We're going to be here for probably about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm not going to keep you guys that long today. So we're just going to go over some really basic things to help you actually go through and grow your businesses. So again, this is leveraging automation systems and team for entrepreneurs. If you do not already know me, my name is Kenniqua. I am the owner of Candy Jones Client Services, LLC, and I'm actually the creator of the IBO Knowledge as well program. And with both of these businesses, and pretty much in a nutshell, Candy is a virtual assistant agency and virtual call center business. And the IBO Knowledge as well program is an online course creation business. And we help entrepreneurs and small businesses start and run and grow their businesses. So what I would like to hear from you guys at this moment is just to see, where are you from? Where are you from? So if you could go ahead and just post into the chat for me. I'm actually going to go back to the chat here in one moment to see what you guys have there. But just let me know, where are you from? And then also what I want you to do is go ahead and tag some of your friends. If you have some business besties, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs that may be interested in this information, I want you to go ahead and share this information with them, tag it, and actually share this video so it actually will come up for them. So I'm going to go back. Let's see, look at some of these comments. Fatima says she's from New Jersey. We have Florida. We have New Orleans. Good. We have Fredericksburg, Virginia. Awesome. Awesome. I'm in Virginia as well. Okay. This is Nisha. How you doing, Nisha? I'm actually on their directory. If you guys are in the Virginia, I'm actually on the Virginia Black-owned directory with them. Daryl's in Jacksonville, Mississippi. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nisha. Phoenix, Arizona, Kiston, North Carolina, Jackson, Adriel Jackson. Okay, that's the name. Okay, because some of you guys are coming up Facebook user because of the system that we're using today. So we have Texas. Derek is looking at us from YouTube. Awesome. I have someone from Summit has Facebook users, so I don't know your name, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys actually joining us today here. And again, I'm going to go back to this slide here for you so I don't keep you this long. But again, just go ahead and tag and share. Go ahead and tag and share this with some of your business besties. I would highly appreciate that. All right, so let me exit this out on my phone. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So again, welcome everyone. Why are you blinking on me, Canva? All right, I'm gonna put it in large view. See why it's blinking out on me. All right, so hopefully it's not going to blink out anymore. Okay. All right. So again, I'm not going to be able to see the chat while I'm going through the slides, but I will go back and forth through the slides so you guys, I'll be able to get you guys in the chat. If you have any questions, post them in the chat. And of course, I will go back and review that later in some of the slides. So again, just welcome everyone. So today we're actually going to be discussing some ways that you could set certain business tasks on autopilot by embracing automation technology. And then I'll also go over some ways that you can delegate certain tasks to either a single VA, which is a virtual assistant, or a team of people who can help your business run seamlessly while you focus on your clients or your customers and do the things that you love. So chances are, if you are tuning into this particular live, it is because you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, and maybe you are at this point tired of doing all of the single task in your business. As an entrepreneur, a lot of times we do so many different things that we just get tired of doing all of the things. So that is really why I wanted to go through and do this here for you guys today. So what we're going to talk about is understanding or making the decision of when to actually go through and automate or to delegate certain tasks in your business. So if you want to focus on bigger projects or be able to hit your next level goals, not to mention stop spending all of your precious time doing stuff you don't love, then you're going to need support. So when you get help, whether you're using tools or you're using a team with parts of your business that you don't enjoy or you don't need to do, you get to focus more on what you love, okay? So let's talk about very quickly the difference between actually going through and doing automation and delegation. So automation pretty much means that you're putting a tool such as a computer system or a software to complete certain tasks in your business. So I'm going to give you a little later here a couple examples of that to hopefully get your wheels turning of things that you can actually do in your business in order to be able to help you automate some things in your business, especially, again, those little tasks that you really don't need to be doing or that you can actually go through and automate. And then we're going to talk about delegation. So delegation means that you're hiring a real person to complete those tasks. So sometimes you could be hiring or you could be delegating something to someone to actually set up automation, or you could actually be delegating someone to just oversee the whole project or the whole task and just completely take over it. All right. So automation. So when is the best time or the best task for automation? So some of the best tasks for automation is going to be things that happen at a specific time. So like, for example, a confirmation email right after someone actually inquires about maybe your services or your products, or even after someone goes through and subscribes to your email list. So for example, I'm pretty sure that some of you guys have been to someone's landing page, maybe to grab a freebie. Maybe someone's offering a free course or a free checklist, and you've actually gone through and boom, let me put in my email address so I can get this freebie. And then what happens next? That freebie actually comes right to your email, right? That's set up via automation. You're not manually, that person's not manually going through and like, oh, I got a new person. Let me go ahead and send out this document. No, they actually have that set up on automation. Automation can also be things that don't necessarily need to be customized, meaning that it doesn't necessarily have to maybe have that person's name on it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an individual proposal. Now, granted, there are things that you can do to add customization, to add on your subscribers' names. There are things that you can add custom proposals to and for it to be automated. But in grand scheme of things, some of that does not need to be customized when you're thinking about automation. And then sometimes we're talking about little tiny tasks that happen often. You could go through and automate. So for example, I'm gonna give you an example of this really quickly, is even with like our call center, our virtual call center business, we have people that apply to our business. They go right to our website, they fill out an application. There's a lot of different things that happen with automation with our company. Okay, they apply, they automatically get routed to a video, right? They get routed to this video that tells them thank you for applying. But not only that, so they get this video, they also get an email to let them know, hey, thank you for applying. But then not only that is that they automatically get into our CRM system, right? So I'm not manually going through and taking applications and manually putting these people into our CRM system. It's automatically put in there with automation that we actually have set up. So I'm going to actually exit out of this really quickly. I want to be sure that you guys are still with me here. Fatima says, small business owners just starting with a rush, trying to be my own IBO, but I am starting and I'm just getting information. So when I'm ready for all of this information. Okay, awesome. Okay, so if you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about how to leverage automation systems and team for entrepreneurs. And I'm going to go back here and again, go ahead and share with your friends so they can actually grab this information as well. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a little bit of delegation here. And if you have questions along the way, just go ahead and again, just post it into the chat here for me. As you guys can see, I'm actually rolling pretty right along here. I told you guys in 2021, for some of you guys that have been live with me in the past, you guys know that I always go over time. I'll tell you 30 minutes and it's like 45 minutes to an hour. But today in 2021, we are starting to roll through this and I'm not going to keep you guys that long. But again, I want you to have all the tips that you need in order to decide or know when to actually automate or delegate in your particular business. So let's go ahead and I'm just checking something here. Okay. So delegation. So what is delegation going to be best for? So delegation is going to be best for tasks that do require some personalization, and that you can also delegate these tasks to set up for automation. So what that means is, for example, if you're like, you know what, I have these tasks. Maybe I want to have my applications go into my CRM system. Maybe I'm selling a product and I want my customers to be able to get this automatic email or this automatic freebie or this digital download. Maybe if you're trying to sell digital products and I want my customers to be able to get that, but I actually don't know how to set that up. That's something that you can delegate to someone else to say, hey, set this up for me. They set it up for automation and then boom, you know, it was just a project. It was just a one-off project where you set it up for automation. Or you could do something which is for delegation, where this person is just continuously doing that particular task for you in your business. Okay, so hopefully at this point, you kind of understand the difference between the automation and delegation. Now, I do want to just point out one thing is that using the combination of the two is going to be perfect. There's going to be some things that you're going to automate. And again, there's going to be some things that you're going to delegate. So you don't have to really worry about just choosing one or the other. You can actually do the combination of both, which is what would think that you would want to do eventually. So let's talk about some processes, systems, and workflows. Okay. So here, we're going to figure out what needs to be automated and what needs to be delegated. And really, only you know this in your particular business, but we're going to really kind of go into this really briefly to kind of give you some ideas of what, again, you can automate, what you can delegate, and what you need to do before you even do any of this. So I'm going to define a couple of things here for you. Is number one, what is a process? So a process is going to be a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. So one thing that is very important, even before you're setting up automation or before you're even delegating something to someone, you do have to know what your process is. You do have to have a process, because it is nearly impossible to go through and set up automation if you don't know what step A, B, C, D, if you don't know those steps, it's almost nearly impossible to set up automation, because you have to know those steps in order to be able to have this particular action be triggered by this particular thing, right? You have to know and have to have a process in order to be able to go through and set up. So that's one of the first things, is understanding your processes in any particular task. So if you are a virtual call center business and you're trying to set up a CSP onboarding process, you have to have a process when you're onboarding your agents. If you are selling a product, you have to know A, B, C. You have to know each and every point before actually going through and being able to set up for automation. And again, it's going to help you even when you're going through and delegating to someone. You have to know what that process is going to be, because only you know as the business owner exactly what it is that you want and what your business should be doing. Now we also have systems. So a system is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done and organized, framework, or method. And then we have a workflow. A workflow consists of an orchestrated and repeatable pattern of activity. All right, so something to think about at this time. So here are some basic workflows you want to get clear on and create a specific process and systems. So I want you to really think about lead generation. How are you getting your leads? So despite what type of business you actually have, this would apply to mostly any type of business, because businesses are going to run on getting leads. They're going to run off of clients. They're going to run off of customers. Whatever it is that you call the people that are paying you some money, you're going to need to have some type of lead generation. So how are you getting those leads? Are you building up your email list to get leads? Or again, you're offering freebies? Are you doing courses? Or what are you doing in order to be able to generate leads? Are you using job boards? Like if you're hiring people for a staffing company, what are you doing in your lead generation? Again, but you want to make sure of those processes and those systems for that. Content marketing creation. How are you creating your content? This is going for social media. This is going for newsletter. This is going for videos. This is going for any type of content marketing creation. This is going for blogs. You want to think about your workflows, your processes, and your systems for that. Your client experience. How are you actually handling your clients, the experience with them? I'm going to give you an example of this. Like, for example, with our call center business, right? With our call center business, our main focus, and this is actually with all of the businesses that we have, but one of the main focuses is specifically with our virtual call center business is to create a wonderful experience in terms of customer service. Customer service is key. I feel like we run a customer service call center, and so customer service has to be the most important thing. And so our agents and their needs are what's important. So we have a clear process on the experience that we want to go through and provide them. So for example, even when it comes to onboarding our agents with our client experience, we make sure that we reach out to them via call, via email, several times within a 30-day period. And it's actually done by clockwork. It's day number 1, 2 week, 4-week mark, right? And we have follow-up set in our system that automatically triggers that notification to come to us to say, boom, you're supposed to call such and such. It's 2 weeks. Boom, you're supposed to call such and such. It's 4 weeks. We have this set up because we want to make sure that no one gets left behind, especially within their first 30 days of actually being with us. So that's part of the client experience. We have an actual process that we go through each and every time with each and every single person to be sure that we're providing a high level of customer support. You also want to go through and think about your follow-up. So with any business, despite what type of business that you have, follow-up is going to be very, very important. If you're trying to go through and you're trying to get clients, like let's say you're trying to run, like we have a virtual assistant agency. In order for us to be able to get clients, we have to follow up. I can't say I have a single client that day number one, they're like, yep, I want to go. I'm going to sign the contract and pay right then and there, right? Typically, I have to follow up with them. Now, I'm not saying that I have to follow up with them 4, 5, 6 times, but at some point, I do have to follow up with them. Even if it's 2 or 3 days later, I do have to follow up back up with them. If you're running a virtual call center business, if you are selling any type of product, even if you're selling a product and it's maybe a one-time product, but you want to be able to make that customer a repeat customer, you're going to have to follow up with them. So at some point, you're going to need to have a follow-up process. And that's one of the things that I would like for you to be able to go through and think about. So I'm actually going back to the questions really quickly and going back to the chat really quickly. What questions so far do you guys have with me? Are you guys with me on understanding the automation, understanding delegation, understanding the difference between the two, and how this actually at this point in our presentation, how this actually may help your business? Just go ahead and post it in the chat for me and just let me know. I'm gonna give a few moments to let you guys post it into the chat, and then we will go back here to our slides. But I want to make sure that I am not missing any of your questions. All right, if you have any questions, go ahead and post it into the chat, and I am going to read those here back in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right back into this. So it has Facebook user. I don't have your name, I'm sorry. So they say I get lost in the technical setups and then get delayed. So for example, trying to set up Asana or set up Trello. Okay, so what I would recommend in terms of that is, number one, making sure that, again, you have your processes and knowing what exactly it is that you have set up. Now, I will say for Trello, because Trello and Asana, they are both project management systems. So I would kind of narrow down, number one, which one you want to use. So kind of look at some reviews to see which one actually fits you. I personally use Trello. I absolutely love Trello, but I will honestly say that I've heard some really great things about Asana, but I've never used Asana. But they're both project management systems. So whichever one you actually decide to use, I would stick with learning one of them. Okay. So not trying to actually dive deep into, both of them, because that could definitely get pretty confusing. So actually then have a goal of what it is that you are actually trying to set up. Because one thing about Trello or Asana is that there is so many different things that you can do. I mean, because you can build it from scratch and you can track anything. Like, for example, I actually have a YouTube video about Trello and how I use Trello. I can actually put that into the chat here in a moment. But I actually have a YouTube video about how I actually use Trello. But I plan out my whole social media content for YouTube, blog posts, social media. I use that for Trello. I use Trello for all of my clients to keep track of the tasks and things that I have to do for all of my clients. You can use it for going through, you can use it for going through and planning out your day. So the possibilities are endless. And it's pretty easy to use. I would probably say check out a few YouTube videos, maybe if you're having a little bit of trouble with the technical setup. But I would just recommend just going through and just playing around with at least one of those particular systems, just playing around with one. Mandel asks, what software do you use for automation right now? I can't afford the Delegation. So we're actually going to talk about the Delegation and, that as well. But what software do I use for automation? We actually have a course where I actually go over some of the things of how you can use your current systems that you are already using and understanding how to actually know you can actually use automation with the systems that you're currently using, because most systems that you're currently using actually connect natively to a lot of different systems. So there are some systems that you can use to actually automate. So what I mean by that is, for example, Acuity Scheduler. Acuity scheduler actually natively connects to a lot of different things. So like our Acuity, our clients, customers, whatever, they're able to actually go through book appointments from Acuity Scheduler. They automatically get an email notification, right? A confirmation email letting them know about their appointment. And they're automatically getting the Zoom link, which is a part of automation, right? So they automatically get that Zoom link. So I don't necessarily have to use any type of outside system in order to automate that. Now, one of the other tools, when I can't if I can't automate something with the system that I'm currently using, I like to use Zapier. Zapier is pretty much the middleman between all of these different systems, hundreds and hundreds of systems, probably even thousands of systems that you can use to be able to connect with so many different things. And so I use that a lot. I think I have what they're normally in Zapier, they're called Zaps. And I have about 25 different Zaps that are doing so many different things. Sometimes I even forget, like, oh man, I forgot that was automated. It's like sometimes I forget the things that I've gone through and set up. So that was the same question someone else have. They said, with a call center as well, definite need. I'm eager to know companies that you recommend and how much. Okay. All right, we're gonna go over a little bit about that. How do you spell scheduler? It's Acuity. I'm gonna actually post it into the chat for you. I use Acuity Scheduler. In the past, I have, I don't think I spelled scheduler right, but in the past, I've actually gone through and I've used Setmore. Setmore is actually a good one here. Setmore is actually a good one. Hold on, guys. I'm going to be right back. Scheduler is Setmore Scheduler is actually a pretty good one. And then I know that Calendly is actually a good one as well. All right. Awesome. So let me go back here. Let me go back to this screen so I can bring it up here for you guys. So those are some of the things right here that's on the list. These are some of the things that I just want you to kind of have on the back of your mind and think about it. And the reason why I say this is because when I first started my business, just to kind of give a little bit of background, the first business I ever had, I was 21. I actually had a boutique. Was the first business that I ever had. And I had that business for like 3 years. I will honestly say, after getting into product-based, I am not a product-based person. I do not like selling products. I do not. It's not my thing. Okay. It's not my thing. So I like selling services. But so after doing that, I did end up having another product-based business, which was like an online jewelry company, probably like around 25 or so. And so yeah, so I've had a couple businesses in the past, but as a solopreneur, really, one thing that I did realize is that I'm working too hard to do all of this stuff, because if something is broken, and I say this all the time, is if something is broken, who else can fix it? Just me. I'm the only one that can fix it. And sometimes I would be, and it's like, okay, I'm done working for today. And the next thing you know, I'm like, oh my goodness, this form did not populate correctly. And I can't say I can't fix it because there's no one else to go through and fix it. But once you actually start going through and start automating some things, especially delegating some things, you'll find that your time will start being freed up. So what I want you guys to do is I really want you to start thinking about all the tasks that you're currently doing in your business and how you're currently completing those particular tasks. So one of the first things that I did when I started delegating, okay, when I started delegating, and I'm so happy that I did decide to delegate. I'm one of those people, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys are just like me. I'm one of those people that want to keep control of everything that's going on. Okay. Because I feel like, no one can do this but me. I'm the only one that could do it because I know that it's going to get done right. If I send it to someone else, it may not get done right, or it may get messed up, or maybe it doesn't get done. Sometimes you really have to toss that out your mind. And you do, of course, have to find the right people to be able to fill those spots. But there are people out there that do know what you could do, that can follow directions and be able to do it just as well as you could do it too. You just have to start being able to let yourself go and kind of be able to trust people. But one of the first things that I personally started delegating is one of the things that I did not like to do. So when you're going through and you're trying to think about the tasks that you're currently doing, think about how much time you're actually spending doing it. Okay. Think about, and I want you to think about when you're thinking about the time that you're spending doing particular tasks, you can't get your time back. All right. We can always make more money. I can make money at any point, but I can't get my time back. Right. So if I'm doing a task that's taking me 10 hours and I could go pay somebody to do it for $100, I'd rather pay somebody $100 than spend 10 hours of my time, because I can always go back and make $100. I can't go back and get those 10 hours back. So you want to think about how much time you're actually going through and you're spending on those particular tasks. And then you want to focus on, well, out of those tasks, what can I possibly automate? Because like we talked about before, not all of those tasks require somebody else to actually go through and do them. You may not need to hire someone to send out follow-up emails, right? Because you can actually have follow-up emails go out automatically. You don't have to have someone actually do that. And then you want to think about, can you delegate some tasks to someone else? So some of those things that we talked about when we talked about the differences of, certain tasks that could be delegated and automated, those things that just cannot be automated. Like, for example, with one of the tasks that I was mentioning before that I had, the first thing that I started delegating when I started to build a team was the number one thing that I did not like to do. The number one thing I did not like to do is, in my virtual call center business, I do not like the onboarding process. Okay. I don't like the onboarding process. And it's not that I don't like the onboarding process because I don't like how it's done, because I love how it's done. I like how hands-on it is done. I like the customer experience, just like how I explained to you guys before. My whole goal is to provide that customer experience, but I understand the level of experience that we are trying to achieve, that it takes a lot to achieve that I can actually go it and do it a simpler way, but I choose not to because I want that level of experience to be higher. Because granted, I can onboard and just send out emails, but I don't want to just send out emails. I want people to actually feel like they are actually welcomed onto a real virtual team. And so I choose to do it a little bit differently. But at the same time, I didn't like doing it because it took too much time. It took too much of my time, right? And that's the first thing that I actually went through and delegated. So I can have someone go through and call to say, hey, welcome to the team. Hey, do you want to jump in a Zoom meeting with me really quickly so I can show you how to enroll into a class? Like, those are the things that I delegated because, again, I want that experience, but at the same time, I don't want to necessarily spend that amount of time to create that experience. So again, that was something that I delegated. That was actually the first thing that I actually went through and delegated, which was very beneficial. And we're going to talk about here in a little bit of some of the benefits of delegation. So I actually won't say what I was about to say, but we will actually talk about some of those benefits. But let me just tell you a secret. In order to grow your business, you're going to need support. So it's either going to be by systems or people or the combination of the two. You're going to need that. Okay. So you're not going to be able to just be the solopreneur in your business and not use anything, because what's going to happen is you're going to start getting burnt out. You're going to start getting tired, and you're not going to be able to maximize your level of glow up, or whatever it is that you want to call. You're not going to be able to maximize it, because granted, there's not but so much that you can do. There's not but so much hours in a day. So in order to be able to achieve the level of success that you want to achieve, you're going to need at some point the usage of automation, or you're going to need to have people that are there willing to help you. All right. So I'm going to go back to the chat here for just one moment and see what you guys have for me. I have to keep clicking back and forth here. Let me see. Vanessa says, is the information included in your course? So yes. So this information that we're going over now, this is actually, of course, just a brief overview, but we actually go through full in automation in the IBO Launch Academy, as well as there is an automation for business separate course that you can actually get without doing the IBO Launch Academy. So yes, that's actually, we do have one that is included, where I actually do walk you guys step by step of how to set up a couple automations and how to actually look at the systems that you're currently using to help you set up automation as well. So to prepare yourself for setting up automation or setting up delegation, even if you're not ready to actually go through and hire a virtual assistant, or you're not ready to hire a team member, or you're not ready for automation at this point in time, I want you, something that you can start doing today is to start documenting your processes. Okay. Start documenting your processes. If you don't have a process, you want to sit down and you want to think about your process. How do you want this particular task to go? I'm talking to virtual call center business owners, because I know there's a lot of you guys that are in here. This is actually because we're doing it live. We're on 3 different things right now. So this could apply for everyone, but I want to say this specifically to you guys. So what you want to do is, if you have an onboarding process, that's a process. Onboarding. That is one process. Coming up with an onboarding process. If there isn't a certification process, right? For your agents that are currently in certification, there should be a particular process for that, right? This is what I'm going to do while these people are in certification class, right? I'm going to make sure that I call them. I'm going to make sure that I have some maybe information sessions for them to attend, some help sessions. And then maybe you may even have some type of process, maybe even after that, for when people are actually servicing and they're actually on client programs. You want to make sure that you have a process, even if it's something as simple as a process for payroll. This is what I do to process payroll, X, Y, Z, right? Because a lot of times as business owners, and again, this applies to any type of business, is going through and creating a process for every single last thing that you do. The thing about it is, when we're business owners, we think every task is just simple. Like, yeah, I like process payroll, but when you hand it off to someone else, if they're not you and they don't know what you do, then they don't necessarily know how to do it, right? Everybody doesn't run payroll the same way. Everybody doesn't do an onboarding the same way. So you want to make sure that if you want to go through and in essence, duplicate yourself, right? Because remember before I said that, I wasn't really too sure if I can find someone that could do it like me. But in order to have someone do something like me, I had to show someone how to do it like me, right? So if I want something to be done a certain type of way, I had to show someone how to do it that particular way. So what I started doing before creating any type of team is I started documenting my processes. So, and it's not necessarily going through and you're just, hey, okay, I got to document processes today. No, You're already working in your business right now, right? I'm pretty sure today, when you leave this meeting, there's something that you have to do. Go ahead and open up a Loom, okay? Loom, Loom. You can actually start off on a free plan with Loom. We actually have the paid plan, but you can actually start off with a free plan and just start recording yourself doing tasks in your business. And you don't have to say it to anybody. Like, you don't have to, when I do videos now, it's just like, hey, this video is about processing payroll, because you could be talking to anyone. You don't know exactly who you're talking to yet, because you may not have anybody that's doing any work for you. But the key is when you actually start delegating, you already have that stuff done. Because you've recorded everything that you actually ever did. And it's going to be good, because now you are going through and you are duplicating yourself. You're showing someone exactly how it is that you want it done. And all they have to do is just come in and just watch videos. You can take it a step further. Why I like to actually go through and use Loom, by the way, is because it's really easy for you to be able to go through and just record your screen, record videos. And they have it like a little share button where you could just share it inside of an email. So if you need to share it in the email, by the way, I do record a lot of videos. So we're on a paid plan because I do record, actually all of my videos are actually recorded using Loom. So that's how I record all of my videos, and they're coming up with a lot of pretty good features as well. But so I use Loom, but I also use the paid version because they have where you actually have team folders, right? And so what we do now is I can go through, and if I'm doing a video on like processes or this is how to do this, I go through, I put in the team folder, and I label the folder within the folder. So like there's a team folder, and then I have a folder called SOPs. I have a folder, start here. I have a folder, CSP, onboarding process. So that way, when I have someone come behind me, if they're like, man, I don't know how to do this, they're going to go through and they're going to click on that, start here. And they're going to look at all the videos that are important for them to go ahead and get started. If they have problems with CSP onboarding process, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this particular case. They're going to go to the CSP onboarding process videos, right? They could do that. And in conjunction, of course, we do use Trello as well to be able to document that. But start documenting your tasks now. You don't have to wait until you're ready to actually hire someone, or you don't have to wait until you're ready to automate something in order to be able to start now. Because trust and believe, when it's time for you to go through and hire a virtual assistant or hire a team member, they are going to thank you so much for having all this stuff in order for them when it's time for you to get ready. So how do you know what you should automate and what you should delegate? So automating anything that could be done by a software on autopilot without any or much input from you. Okay. So anything that you can think of that you're like, you know what? I can probably just automate that. And I'm telling you that even using, I told you guys before that I use Zapier to make a lot of connections. I use my systems first. So whatever systems that I have, if I see that it does some type of automation that I can use, I use that. But then after that, I go to Zapier to see, I just go in Zapier and just start typing in stuff. Let me see if I can do this. I just noticed in Zapier that you can have automatic text messages come to your phone to remind you of stuff. Like, that is pretty cool. Like, you could sign up for our app and it will send you a text message automatically to say, hey, you need whatever you want the text message to say. It will automatically send text messages out for you, right? So the possibilities are endless of what you can actually go through and automate. Anything that you can think of, you can go through and automate. So thinking about automating, and then in terms of delegating is going to be anything that can't be automated, but doesn't necessarily have to be done by you. Okay. So in terms of being able to, for example, if you're making follow-up calls, right, and you're actually calling people, okay, you can't just automate calls, right? It's not robots that are going to just be calling people, but that doesn't require you to be able to do it. Like, for example, when we have follow-up calls and our team members go through and make follow-up calls, they have a script. We write them a script and they have a script available. Now, they don't have to follow the script, of course, word by word, but the script is a good guide for the points that I want them to hit on when they actually go through and they make the follow-up call. And again, I'm duplicating myself because I wrote the script from what I used to say when I was making follow-up calls, right? All right. So delegate again is anything that can't be automated, but does not require you to actually go through and do it. So I'm going to actually go back and check on you guys inside of the chat. Do I have a video on a CSP onboarding process? Yes, I do have a video on the CSP onboarding process. It is on the IBO Knowledge as wealth.com website. It is on that website. I do have a process for that. It's also inside the IBO Launch Academy, but it is offered separately. Loom, Derek, yes, Loom. That is spelled correctly, Loom. And I know they changed around some plans. I know when I first started Loom on the free plan, you used to be able to go through and you could record unlimited length of video. But I think you couldn't have more than like 25. I think now they may have changed it where the length on the free plan might only be 5 minutes. I'm not 100% about that, but I will tell you guys, Loom is not that much. It's only like $7. It's like $5 or $7 a month. So especially if you're going to go through there and, record, but that's where we have all of our videos housed. Videos for all my courses. They're all in their own folders. Course videos, YouTube videos are in a separate section. Like I said, team folders, all of that is in all different sections. So it is a great tool to have, but you can also use other things to, record your videos as well. But I really like to use Loom. All right, so here is just a little quote from Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek. Never automate something that cannot or that can be eliminated, and never delegate something that can be automated or streamlined. Otherwise, you waste someone else's time instead of your own, which now wastes your hard-earned cash. How's that for incentive to be effective and efficient? So let me tell you guys, even with this, now, of course, I work more than 4 hours a week, but with usage of automation, with usage of using delegation, I typically work about 20 to 25 hours a week. I don't work more than 25 hours a week. Now, and this even has to do with 2 businesses and doing client work, because I don't really desire to work more than 25 hours per week. That's just me. But because I'm able to automate a lot of different things and I'm able to go through and delegate a lot of different things, it actually has increased my revenue without me having to increase my time, if that makes sense. All right, so let's look at some examples here. And these are just some food for thought examples. But again, the possibilities are almost endless of which you can actually go through and automate. As long as it doesn't have to, be done by a person, you can almost automate almost anything. So even doing something like setting up a landing page with a freebie to attract leads for your business. That is definitely something that has to do with lead generation, being able to get clients. So if you're trying to go through and get clients for your business, going through and offering some type of freebie, some type of good freebie that somebody actually wants, that's going to provide them with some action steps, is going to be very, very good to try to get somebody onto your email list. Again, setting up an email sequence, using the email marketing system to contact your leads. That is very important to me. Despite any type of business that you do have, email marketing is very important. I would recommend, whether you're a call center business owner or any other type of owner in any type of business, is to start building up your email list, to be able to send people information, send people tips of things that apply to your actual business and about the services that you do offer, or any products that you do offer. Think about how many emails that you get from Nike and how many, Amazon and stuff. Shoot, I go on Amazon and they're sending me all types of different emails, suggestions on products. But again, they keep that to kind of keep you in the forefront of mind, to keep, their business in the forefront. And then clients being able to, I used this example before, but clients being able to book an appointment with you using an online scheduler and automatically getting an email confirmation and getting a Zoom link. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, before I was going through and setting up automation, I was going through customers, well, let me just backtrack a little bit. Clients, number one, before even setting up any type of automation and using the systems that are currently out there, I was doing back and forth emails. Hey, are you available at 2:00? No, I'm not available at 2:00. I'm available at 3. Okay, no, I'm not available at 3. Are you available at 4? No, you're doing this back and forth, right? That's a waste of time when you could just go through, set up an appointment scheduler, put your hours that are available inside that appointment scheduler and allow someone to be able to book your time and allow somebody to be able to book their slot of time. This even goes through if you're setting up webinars, you're doing information sessions or whatever, or let people book directly from an appointment scheduler. You can sign up with Acuity Scheduler. You can actually sign up with them on a free plan. And there's a lot of other free plans out there that you could do too. Like I said, Setmore is a nice, Setmore actually has a really good free plan. I like Acuity the best, but Setmore is really good too. But again, there's Calendly, there's so many different things. But before I was doing that back and forth of doing emails to try to get people to book consultations. And then not to mention, if they had to go through and reschedule, they send you that email to reschedule. No, they could do all of that from the actual calendar. Then what I was doing in the past was, now that they booked, now let me go to Zoom, let me generate a link for them to go to Zoom and let me send them a link via email. Why do I need to do that? When I could just go through there and I can use the tools that Acuity has provided me, which it integrates natively with Zoom, and I can set up my connection with Zoom, and every single time someone actually books an appointment, that it automatically generates a link inside of Zoom. I can see all of my appointments in Zoom. They all have their own separate links, and everyone has their links, and I'm not having to do anything, right? I'm not having to do anything. Even when it comes down to if you have particular questions for people, Acuity allows you, and this is not a Acuity meeting, but I'm just letting you know some things that you can do is even when going through and having questions, having, clients and doing intake forms. Again, that's something that can all be automated. They can answer all those questions that you need to ask them, that you would typically send out an email to them. You can ask all of those questions up front when they actually book. Not to mention, even to take it a little bit further, is after their meeting is over, you can have the system set it up to send them out a follow-up email or a survey after the meeting, right? So definitely going through and using automation is going to be very key. Now I'm going to go back to the chat really quickly. I'm going to go back and check on you guys really quickly. What questions? Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Oh, Vanessa says that she's a new IBO, but she also is a chat PF and a SME. Okay, good for your clients. So you work a lot of hours. Yeah, definitely. So you work a lot of hours. So definitely setting up some automation to kind of keep those hours down is going to be beneficial for you. All right. So what questions so far do you guys have about automation? What questions do you have about automation? And then we're going to look a little bit further into delegation. I'm going to tell you guys some benefits of actually delegating and when you can actually start to delegate. I'll just wait 1 second to allow for you to be able to post that. Now, some of you guys, like I said, this is really mixed, but some of you all that are virtual call center business owners and you are looking to start or, grow your virtual call center business, you can join the IBO Facebook group. The link is actually on the screen for that. So you could take a screenshot of it and join the group. Just be sure to answer all of the questions. I'm going to go ahead and continue. I don't see any more questions up here. For those that may be coming through later, or if you are doing the replay, just be sure to hashtag replay and you can let me know that you're actually tuning into the replay. So for those that come in a little bit later. All right. So benefits of delegating. So here are 5 actual benefits of actually delegating. And I know delegating could be very scary. Like I told you before, I was really scared about delegating as well because I was really worried about somebody kind of getting into my stuff and messing my stuff up. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that some of you guys, you feel that same way too. So one of the things about delegating is it allows for you to be able to lighten your workload and save yourself some time. That is number one. Number two is you can offload those extra hours and tasks so you can focus on the things that you love and that will move your company forward. Like we talked about before, in order for you to be able to elevate your business, elevate yourself, earn more money, you are going to need to be able to delegate at some point and or automate a lot of different tasks in order to be able to do more. One of the things that I found, and just starting my business, my virtual call center business, which was the first business that I created within a service-based business, like not the product-based that I had in the past, but the first service-based business that I created was my virtual virtual call center business. One of the things that I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go past that. I lost my train of thought of what I was about to say about that. I'll actually come back to that point here in a second. Okay, so number three, guys. Number three is going to be able to take on more clients or customers because you have more time. Okay, so being able to take on more clients or customers because you have more time. Now, remember what my thought was. My thought was as I actually started my business, I actually started to learn. For some of you guys that are IBOs and you're listening to this, you understand that you wear a lot of different hats because most of the time, or even if you're not an IBO, you understand in your business as a solopreneur is that you actually go through and you wear multiple hats, right? You are the payroll person. So you are HR, you are customer service, you are technical support, you are, customer relations, you're all of these different types of hats. However, you're probably not good at all those type of hats, right? You are the marketing team. Can't forget the marketing team. You're the marketing team, but marketing may not be your jam. You might be the person that, you're trying to go through and set up websites. This maybe not be for you, but at the time you're a solopreneur. So you're having to go through and having to do everything on your own. But as you actually start to grow yourself within your business, you'll start to understand certain things that you really like to do, and you'll start to understand certain things that you really can do. So one thing I would say about that is when I first started my virtual call center business, of course, I was wearing so many different hats, but then I started kind of understanding the things that I really liked to do, which was I really liked to do the whole design of everything. So I liked the marketing in terms of even like social media marketing. I liked creating those ads. I like creating graphics. I like designing websites. And I noticed like, okay, these are the things that I really love to do. And so when I started delegating my task out, I started delegating tasks again that I did not like to do, but it allowed for me to be able to open up more time for myself to explore the things that I really like to do. So it allowed for me to be able to explore like, you know what, I'm going to start getting website clients because I'm really good at design. I'm really good at designing websites. I know how to do this. But if I'm worried or bombarding myself rather with so many other tasks, I wouldn't have time to actually do the things that I really like to do because I'm doing all the things that I have to do in order to be able to keep the business running. So that is one thing. Okay. So number three, being able to take on more clients or customers because you have more time. Number four, another benefit of actually going through and delegating is going to be improving your company by hiring experts or team members that can do the things that you cannot. Okay. So you are improving your business. If you are not a marketing guru and you hire somebody that marketing is their jam, that is going to, number one, add to your bottom line because you're going to start bringing in more clients, more customers, more agents, because now you have a guru on your team, somebody that really knows their stuff in marketing. And at the time, it may seem like I can't afford to hire somebody for XYZ, right? But let's say you go through and you hire someone, this is just an example, but let's say you go through and you hire someone for $500 a month. But that $500 a month of service that they provide to you brings you in $3,000-$4,000 a month worth of clients and customers, it paid for itself, right? It paid for itself. So sometimes you want to kind of get into that mindset that now may not necessarily be the time for you to be able to hire someone to be able to join your team, but eventually you're going to want to expand your company and basically strengthen your company by adding on some experts in a particular as a particular field that may be able to benefit your particular business. And then number 5 is going to be make more money because you have more time and support, right? It's all going to boil down to the money. When you delegate, I can honestly tell you, like I said to you guys before, I typically work 20 to 25 hours per week. Some of you guys may already be familiar with me and you already know exactly everything that I do, right? I do have a virtual call center business. I do have online course business. We actually have monthly clients. We do websites. We do a lot of different things, but I still only work 20, 25 hours a week, right? I still only work that because now I have a team where I can actually go through and delegate. And the clients that we do get, I don't have to work with each and every client by myself. Certain jobs that might be harder jobs that I have an expertise that I'm like, only I know that I could do this with the current team members that I do have, then I actually handle those. If it's something that's really general admin stuff, that's something I can pass on to my team because I know that they're able to go through and they can handle general admin things. So those are things that you want to think about and some of the benefits of actually going through and delegating. So what to consider before delegating? Of course, we're going to talk about budget. So budgeting. You're going to need to have a budget before you go through and delegating. There's nothing wrong with talking about budget because you're going to have to be able to pay whoever it is that you decide to bring on. When you bring on a team member or a virtual assistant, it's not going to be someone that's going to work for you for free. It's not going to be someone that is going to work on commission. I know, like I had said to you guys before about my previous businesses, just actually just in here thinking about this now, is when I first had, and I was like I said, 21, 22, and I had my first business, which was a boutique business. I had a full-time job, obviously. I had a full-time job because I wasn't making enough to be able to quit. Not my full-time job. And so I used to have to work on Saturdays. I worked at a call center. Some of you guys may know that background of I worked at a call center for about 13 years. So I worked at a call center and sometimes I used to have to work on Saturdays. And I used to have my mom go to the boutique and she used to run the boutique. And honestly, she was better at making sales than I was because back then I was actually pretty shy. I didn't like talking to people. And honestly, I don't do so well talking to people in person anyway. I am an introvert. So I'm a little bit better, I guess, like on Zoom and stuff like that. But if you were to see me in person, I would probably be a little shy or, whatever. But yeah, so she used to go through and she used to actually go through and work every other Saturday for me. But what made me actually just think about this just now is because obviously I didn't have no budget. It was my mom and she was working for free. And so it just made me think about like, when you go through and you actually hire a virtual assistant that is not your mother, you're probably going to have a budget for that person and be able to pay for them. So what you want to actually do and consider delegating is that you want to set a budget for how much you can afford on hiring a virtual assistant or hiring a particular team member. But even before you're thinking about budget, I actually want you to think, and it's not actually on the screen, but I want you to think about the number one task that you want someone to actually complete for you first, right? So if it's, my onboarding process, I want to hire somebody that's going to take over my whole onboarding process, then that's the first task. I wouldn't recommend onboarding someone with a whole bunch of different tasks because let me just say this. I don't feel that you may find, I'm not going to say you're not going to find, but there's not going to be this person that you're going to say, I want them to do onboarding process. I want them to do my social media webs. I want them to do my social media marketing. I want them to be good at Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I want them to be able to build my website. I want them to be able to do Zoom meetings. That person is not going to be able to do all of that. And not from a time standpoint, it's from an expertise standpoint. So you want to make sure that whoever it is that you are trying to actually hire, that you're actually breaking down these tasks that actually make sense and go together. Social media and build a website doesn't necessarily go together. Now, granted, you may be able to have someone that does know social media and that does know how to build websites, but these are two different tasks. These are technically two different people. And you're not going to necessarily go through and try to package up all of these tasks and be able to get this unicorn person out there. So number one is coming up with a set of tasks of, who you need and what positions you want to go through and fill. The things that you don't like to do, like we talked about before, the things that are actually going to be that take up a lot of your time. And sometimes it could also be things that may not necessarily be on a monthly basis. Some things might just be project based. Like you may hire someone to do your website. That's really a project based thing. That's not something that just lasts forever, unless you're paying for like monthly maintenance or something like that. But other than that, it's project based. You may have someone that's going to set up your automation. Like I'm going to hire someone, like we set up automations all the time. So you may have someone go through and say, I'm just going to pay you for a service to go through and set up my automation. It's a one-time deal. Boom, you're out of there. And that's all you do. Okay. So you want to have those tasks in mind. And again, you want to set your budget and what you can afford on hiring a virtual assistant. Now, I do want to point out one thing when you're going through and you're thinking about delegating someone is, and this is actually going to be another live for another day of what to actually go through and what to look for, but you don't necessarily want to go and get the cheapest person. Okay. So you don't want to say, you know what, I can only afford $8 an hour and that's it. It's going to be very difficult. And I'm not saying there's not people out there that are really good that do only work for $8 an hour. Not saying that there are some people out there, but you want to just keep in mind the saying, you get what you pay for. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're at a point that you're actually making money that you can actually afford, or it's going the end's going to justify the means, right? So you actually want to go through and think about that. And then second of all, you want to prepare yourself and your business for actually taking on a team member. Okay. So you want to go through and create those SOPs, those standard operating procedures that we talked about. You want to go through and record some training videos that you can actually start today. When you know that you're about to start hiring someone, go ahead and get their logins, their accounts, everything ready for them to be able to bring on that team member, because this person is going to be a reflection of you. Right? When your clients or your customers are actually talking to someone, they're going to be talking to this person. And you want to make sure that this person is going to be the best person to actually represent your business, because they can be bringing in customers or clients, but they can also be turning people away by the way that they are. So you want to make sure that you actually prepare yourself and that you are actually ready to be able to take on an assistant. Someone actually said one of the things that I had said, which is went back to the chat here for a moment. It comes up Facebook user for someone of us trusting someone to handle my stuff. Yes, that was definitely the issue that I had, trusting someone to actually go through and do my stuff, get into my stuff, because, and then you're sharing passwords and stuff like that. But if you guys are worried about sharing passwords and stuff, you can use a system called LastPass. So you can use the system called LastPass, and you can actually share your passwords with your assistant, and they can actually not see the passcode. So it allows for you to be able to share like a link with them, and they click on it and it will actually log them into that particular system, and they will never actually see what the password actually is. So systems like that, they do exist, and it's pretty good. But yeah, sharing your stuff. All right, so we're almost coming to an end, guys, which is good. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Don't forget to like and share this particular video so other entrepreneurs just like you can actually get benefit from this particular video. And again, if you're coming in on the replay, that you do hashtag replay for me, so I know that you are actually here. So let's look at some examples of delegating tasks in your business. Number one is going to be hire a VA, virtual assistant, to design, schedule, and manage your social media platforms. This is like a really major thing. And sometimes, and let me tell you guys, even if you're thinking about becoming a virtual assistant, this is something that people really need. There are a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses that need people to handle their social media accounts. Social media is a beast. It's a work in it itself to constantly go through and post onto social media to keep showing up for your audience. It is a lot, but a lot of times it can be worth it depending on what exactly you're doing and what type of content that you're putting out. All right, so number 2 is hire a VA to make follow-up calls for you, answer emails, handle customer escalations, retention, doing all these type of customer service tasks for you. This is actually something very, very good that a very good task to actually delegate to someone, because as you guys know, that those things take up a lot of time. You can go through and get on a call with someone, and depending on what your type of business is, this conversation might be like 15, 20 minutes. It just depends. So this can actually take up a lot of your time. So hiring someone to actually go through and make those calls for you. And you want to make sure, again, that you have someone that has a good tone of voice, a good personality that's going to represent your company, because they're going in and they're getting your clients for you. They're getting your customers. So you want to make sure that they are representing you in the right way. Or even doing something like a project, hiring someone for a project. Hiring somebody to design a website for you. That is something else too. Designing websites takes hours upon hours worth of time. That's a lot of hours. And then especially if you don't know exactly how to do it, it's going to take you even more hours than actually going through and just hiring someone that actually designs websites, and for them to go ahead and knock it out for you in less time than it would take you. Because remember, again, you can't get that time back. All right. So we made it to the end. We're about an hour, 15 minutes. Of course, I went over as usual. I'm trying to do better in 2021. But again, the recap here is evaluating the things in your business that can be automated or delegated. So that is what I want you guys to take away from this video. More than anything, is really just evaluating this. I know that delegation may not be in the forefront of your mind at this point in time for maybe a number of reasons. But one thing that I know that you can do is I know that you can start implementing automation. I know that you can start implementing automation. You have systems that you're currently using at this present moment that you can use to the maximum. Okay. There's certain features that I'm pretty sure in a lot of systems that you're using that you're not fully using. Again, you can even go through there and you can dive into other systems to try to get things connected together. And then, of course, you can always start delegating if you are ready to start delegating. Another thing that you can do is you can start documenting your processes now, creating those SOPs, start creating those. If you don't have a process, you want to start thinking about processes. So you want to start thinking about every little part of your business and write it down on a piece of paper, get you a Trello board, whatever type of system works for you to be able to document these processes or create these processes. I want you to go through and I want you to start going through and doing that now. That's something, again, that you can implement today off of this video. You can start doing that today. Again, even by using Loom to go through and just recording that. The last but not least is understanding in order to be able to grow your business, you must take advantage of these things. Okay. So you must take advantage of automation. You must take advantage of delegation at some point of your business, because otherwise you're going to find yourself getting tired. I know this from experience. So I'm not just saying, it's going to be, no, I'm telling you from experience how I was definitely one of those people who was definitely drained and tired because I was doing every single last thing. And I'm telling you, this is before even delegation. So I am more, if I had to choose between the two, I'm more on automation. I'm going to automate something before I delegate it, right? Because I'm not going to waste my money. Okay. So if I can automate it, I'm going to automate it. So I'm going to automate as much as I can. And then if I can't automate it at that point, then if I need to delegate it, I am. Now, of course, there's things that I'm just not going to delegate because there's these things are things that I need to do, that I feel that I need to do, but other things that I don't. And I feel like they're simple and it will be, more cost effective to have someone else do it, then that is what I'm going to do. All right, so here is what's next. Someone actually already asked me about this, but I'm going to go over this here with you guys now, and then I'm going to take any questions that you have, and then I'm going to let you guys go since we did go a little bit over of when I was trying to get for you guys. But here's what's next. So if you want to dive in a little bit deeper in terms of automation, right? We do have a class on the IBO Knowledge as Wealth program. We do have an Automate Your Business e-course, okay? And this e-course is actually a 2-hour live class replay, a live masterclass replay. We go over what is automation. We dive deeper into what is automation and how to determine when to use automation. We go through and I give you some examples of how to evaluate each and every one of the systems that you're currently using and see how those integrate with other systems natively. That way you don't have to use any type of outside systems. I actually show you how to go through and use Zapier. I actually go step by step of 2 different automations that you can go through from start to finish, which is a very common automation, like how to get forms, leads or applications from your website onto your CRM systems, how to set up a CRM system. We go through that type of stuff when we go through 2 of those using Zapier. Again, Zapier has thousands upon thousands of different connections, so you can go through and play around with that. There's also a bonus video inside of that for time management, and we do have some bonus documents that you can get inside there. So that is actually available on the IBO Knowledge as Well program. I actually will bring up that particular link. If you do need the link to that particular course, it's actually on the screen now. It's actually only $35 if you do want to get that. So that's the Automate Your Business e-course that is available if you want to dive a little bit deeper over how to actually get into automation, automizing for your business. Somebody did ask, what was a good place to actually find a virtual assistant? So that's actually on our next screen. I'm going to go ahead and put up a link here for you. If you guys, I'll go back to the Automate Your Business if you didn't get a chance to actually screenshot that. But I'm going to go through and put up a link here for you that you can actually book a free consultation with us. We do also offer virtual assistant services. So you are able to go through and book a free consultation with us using the link that's actually on the screen there. And there, what we do is we actually offer a number of different services. So one good thing is that we do a lot. So we actually offer customer service, which goes anywhere from making customer service follow-up calls. We do automation setup, obviously. We do Squarespace website design. I even show entrepreneurs. We have clients that we help them set up online courses. We do email management, social media scheduling. We do a lot of different things. So you can book a consultation there. The website I'll actually put inside of the chat here. You can actually go to the website, and if you go to services, business services, you will be able to see all of the services that we actually do offer there. I think I do have that on here as well, business services. All right, let me see what other questions that you had. Somebody said they had a landing page question that you posted. What was the question about the landing page? I might have missed that question. If you want to post your question and has Facebook users, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who it was. They said they had a question about a landing page question. I might have missed that one. I'm going to post this question onto the screen right here. We have a Facebook user. The question was, as your own IBO business and understand what it requires, are your VAs trained in the areas of setup and operations of a VA? So the thing is, with our particular business, especially when it regarding to IBOs, yes, they are. Because being that I'm an IBO, we know everything that has to do with IBOs. So yes, but one good thing too is that we know a lot of our monthly clients that we have, they're not IBOs. We have a lot of different, we have clients in real estate. We have a lot of different finance companies. We have a lot of different clients, but most of our monthly clients are not IBOs. But yes, we do know everything. Well, not everything, but we do know a lot of stuff with IBOs because we do work with IBOs. All right. So Facebook user, here is a landing page the same as me having my free PDF on my website under products and services, or should it just be a page without anything else? So a landing page is typically something that doesn't have anything else. So what you pretty much described to me is like a sales page or like a checkout page, is what you really described to me. Not really like a landing page. A landing page really should just have nothing else. So you can actually build, depending on your website, or if you know how to like build websites or what your website is on, you can actually create a landing page on your website, which is actually good for SEO and driving traffic to your website. But typically a landing page doesn't have a header or a footer. So if you build a landing page on your website itself, again, it typically doesn't have a header or a footer on that particular website. It just has whatever your freebie is, maybe some information, about you, about what you're offering, and then a way for they can actually sign up for the freebie. All right. Do I have any other questions? All right. So really quickly, again, if you are interested here, you can see they automate your business e-course. You can grab that screenshot off of there. If you are interested in diving a little bit more into that, or if you are interested in booking a free consultation with us for virtual assistant services, you could certainly do that. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'll wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes, make sure that I didn't miss any questions. Okay. I'm just going back. Any questions here? Okay, so it looks like, yeah. So you said that your freebie has other products on it. Yeah, I would recommend, if so they don't get distracted with a landing page typically, so your customers or clients do not get distracted. You want your freebie just to have just that one call to action, which is to grab the freebie. Because if you have other products and information on it, it can distract people from doing what you want them to do, which is actually to grab your freebie, is to get them onto your email list. You're welcome, Moody. Facebook user, I'm sorry I don't have your name, but I appreciate you coming too. You said thank you so much for the great live. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming and joining me today. Again, the replays will actually be in the respective places. So you will see these replays on YouTube, Facebook, and the Facebook group. So they will actually be there. So anyone that actually comes in afterwards, of course, they can actually go through and view this live. If you have to go back and repeat anything, it is going to be available back here to you guys. And I appreciate you guys joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and the rest of your week.